So I just got done doing a typical install of the new efficiency bowfishing lighting system. This is an 1872 Sea Arc, and I've got a 10 light system installed, and I just wanted to go over the basically what it entails. So you can see the lights are just hanging underneath a raised deck there. So that's how those are installed. So I'm going to start back near where the battery compartment is. So lift up the hatch here. I can show you what I got here. So this is battery power coming in from the battery directly, and I've got it fused down here. So I recommend getting a good fuse as quickly outside the battery as you can. And then I've got my charge connector here. It's an Anderson connector, and then I got a charger there, another charger, and then another system on the other side that is for the troller. So it's basically the same type deal there. But what I wanted to show you, and what I recommend everybody do with their batteries or lighting or troller systems, is to have a battery disconnect switch. And what this does is allow me to toggle between charge and the load that I'm trying to drive with the batteries, or turn it off. And so right now I have the system off, and it's a really good idea to have the switch like that, so that way you're not worried about any stray draws or anything like that. So you can physically disconnect the battery from the entire system right from the get-go. So then, you know, when you want to charge, you just flip over to that, plug in your charger. When you're charged all the way up, then you can switch over to your load, and you don't have a stray draw on your charger while you're not using it either. So that's a typical power out from the battery. The fuse is very important. You want to have that just in case you short out somewhere, it'll blow back here. Anyway, so then I've got 8 gauge wire. It's probably bigger than I needed. I used a jumper cable just because it's cheaper to get that wire that I need. Just buying jumper cables and running it like a regular, cut the ends off and you can run it like regular DC power wire. So that's a tip if you guys want to get some heavier gauge wire and not pay a lot of money, because it's really expensive normally. So it's good wire. You know, it's got really heavy insulation. It's almost looking like 6 gauge, but it's only 8. It's just the insulation is really heavy duty, which is good. And I just got it running, you know, through up of the underneath the accessory track and behind the rubber molding there. It's inside the gunnel. So then it runs all the way up. I got rear lights mounted there. Runs all the way up inside here, comes out up here. So you can see the power wire coming up, and then this is where I begin to distribute it. So I split it into 2 10 gauge wires from 8, and then from there I hook up to the driver packs. So basically what you want to do with the driver packs is combine all the positives and all the negatives, and each driver gets power. So you kind of see underneath here how I have it mounted. So they're just installed like that. The driver packs are actually stackable too, but I just have them laid out like this. So it's better for my configuration not to stack them. So there's the typical power distribution there. So I split it from 8 gauge to 10 gauge, and then 5 drivers gets a 10 gauge wire, and then the other 5 gets another 10 gauge wire. So it doesn't hurt to go heavier on the gauge if you're in doubt, just to make sure you're not going to bottleneck and have a overloaded wire. So on the output side of the drivers, once you have power, then the driver packs all daisy chain together. You can kind of see, like there's a connector. I have it tucked in. I'll pull it down so you can see how it's connected to the neighboring driver. And then they just go down the line just like that. So that is how they all communicate. Then there's the output of the other last driver goes to the controller. So I'll show you that in a minute. But then each driver has another wire going out to each light, and that's what these wires under here are. So I don't have them tucked away as efficiently as I'd like them yet. I just got the install done, and I want to test it out before I finalize the wires. But there's just a simple waterproof connector on one end and a waterproof connector on the other end. You can see there, going into one of the lights, and then it just simply goes to one light to each driver pack. And that's it for installing the lights. And then there's one more wire, which is right here. Looks just like a light cable, but it's got more connectors in it, conductors in it, and that goes up here and then up this railing arm, and then there's the mount for the controller that I have. You can see that's also got a connector there, and that's a rail mount for the controller. I have not well, there's many different types of mounts for the controller. This is a rail mount, and they can be customized if your rail diameter is larger or smaller. They can be made to match whatever diameter rail you have. There's a couple other mounting options as well that I'm not going to get into right at the moment, but let me climb in and show you here quick. So you can see how it comes up, and then there's the actual controller mounted. You can see how it holds it there. It's kind of just clamped onto the pipe, and that's the basic install. So this controller will control all of the lights all at once. So 10 light system of the new efficiency Bowfishing lighting system. So that's pretty much what it looks like. There's other ways to mount the lights. I have them mounted in the most basic form right now, just hanging with a basic U bracket. There's light coves for flush decks, made specifically for this light, and then there's also another bracket style that is adjustable for another hanging style bracket as well. So this is your typical install. So any questions, let me know. All right guys, take care.